Hi there, welcome to Turtle Land Soap Opera. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Gemini energy. The top row is going to be the decisions that you could be making if you harness high vibe Gemini energy, or what has been going on in your life if you are harnessing high vibe Gemini energy. High vibe Gemini is people who are aligned with love and hope and faith and belief in themselves. They are being disciplined within themselves so they don't indulge in their shadow nature. And the bottom row is going to be how you might be tempted to be in your shadow nature, or other people who are free willingly choosing to make decisions out of their shadow nature. And our shadow nature is our more base human nature, our more living more from our mind than our heart, being more in our fear and our insecurity than our hopeful believing nature. In our prideful, egotistical nature, thinking we know better, that we don't have to listen to our intuition, that we can make things happen the way we want them to go, not listening to our intuition. So pride comes before the fall, right? And it also can be people who just decided to align with their more worldly nature of making their life more about money and materialism and status and image. And that to them is kind of what the purpose of life is about. And needless, whenever we're in our shadow, it means that we have lessons to learn. Because we live within the divine's matrix, and life is all about learning to love yourself, value yourself, encourage yourself, and to believe that you can manifest your dreams into reality. And if you keep trying to go about it in an unloving way, you might get money and materialism, status and image, but you won't have the loving, creative, inspired relationships that you want in your life. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. I will be picking up the cards too, but just so that you can see them while they're there on the table. Okay. Let's do the bottom row first. The King of Pentacles, King of the world. We all have our worldly nature. We all got some pride and ego. We all want stability and security and have some luxury in our life, right? We'd all like kind of things to go our way all the time, right? So our worldly nature of the King of Pentacles tempts us. It tempts us to keep being a fool. If we were willing to learn lessons in life, we could let go of clinging to this foolish worldly way of being, thinking that basically, like listening to the devil whisper in our shoulder, is ever going to give us the emotional wish fulfillment we want. In our prideful, more ignorant nature, we want to think we know best and that we can do things our way, but we live within the divine's creation. And it might give us short-term victory. It might puff up our pride or ego, make us feel like we're the winner. Look at me, I'm in the spotlight. Look at how much money I've got, blah, blah. But it's going to leave us feeling left out in the cold and feeling overwhelmed. And the whole thing is we're meant to learn from that experience. It's all for the purpose of teaching us to love ourselves and value ourselves and believe in ourselves that we can manifest our dreams into reality. So when we take those foolish risks, indulging in our more immature, selfish, prideful, I could get hurt if I was to put myself out there. If I went to go for my dreams, people might judge me, people might laugh at me. If I get in a relationship with someone loving, they could hurt me. We don't want to do any of those things. We want to keep repeating patterns of the past. We know how to do that. We know how to work with those people. We know how to work in that type of job. But every time we do that, we feel left out in the cold and overwhelmed and stuck. And the reason is it's supposed to teach us a lesson that we need to be willing. We're a part of nature. We are meant to continually grow and mature ourselves. We never stop growing and maturing ourselves until the day we die. We're meant to learn lessons in life from our mistakes. Mistakes are how we learn. It's like little kids falling down. Thank goodness we're not like little kids pouting on the floor, right? We'd have all these adults like, no, I'm not going because I got hurt before. No, someone could hurt me if I go there. You know, when we were little children, nothing stopped us. You know, we sat and cried for a while. And then we got back up and we went roaring again, trying to learn how to walk, how to run, how to skip, how to jump, how to ride that bike, how to jump that rope, how to drive that car. Somewhere along the way, we kind of give up on ourselves, or we get in our pride and ego thinking we don't have to learn anything anymore. The more stability and security and status and image, or possibly the more attractive we think we are or something, the more we think we have things in the world that will make people come to get in a relationship with us, and in our pride and ego, we think, I don't have to do anything. People just come and get in a relationship with me. Pride comes before the fall. The Five of Pentacles comes after the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is an image of somebody holding tightly onto a foundation, a way of being, a way of thinking. People who foolishly think, I can keep doing things the same way I've done it. It'll work this time. That reminds me of the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over and thinking that you're going to get a different result. We keep making the same foolish mistakes because we haven't learned the lesson. And then when we do, we're able to move forward. We let go of holding on so tightly to that old way of being or thinking or perceiving about ourselves, or that relationship or that job or that friendship group or whatever. We're finally willing to move forward. We're so sick and tired of it, we finally see through the illusion, or through our own fear, or through our own insecurity, or our own lack of self-belief. And then, and only then, are we willing to give it everything we've got to see life from a different perspective and become enlightened to the truth. And we're able to move on to the next phase of life. Life is all about trying to teach us the truth about our fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs, so that we'll get out of our stubbornness and pride and ego and our comfort zone of wanting to do things the same way we've always done it, to overcome our fear and insecurity, to move forward in our life into unknown territory, even though it's overwhelming. We give it everything we've got because we're so sick and tired of doing the same old shit. And when we do that, ding, 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 we see life from a new perspective. So there might be some people, you might be tempted to do that. Maybe because there's someone you thought would be your partner, because the King and Queen of Pentacles is the married suit of the deck, or someone you wanted to be a partner with. You wanted to come together with someone in joy and celebration, in a relationship, a friendship, a marriage, a family, a work situation. But you might have been living in illusion. And your illusion could have prevented you from seeing, or the people who are in their shadow energy, that you'd be repeating a pattern of the past. You know, we don't repeat the pattern with the exact same people we learned the lesson from before. Like, I think a lot of us, it's my own speculation, like a lot of my tarot reading, of my own spin on it, is that we grow up in family dynamics. You know, if there was things about that family dynamic that we really liked, so we want relationships to be like that, or because of the way family dynamics were in the past and we don't realize how those family dynamics maybe made us feel left out in the cold and overwhelmed and stuck. If we haven't seen the truth of how some of those family dynamics that we grew up with, or relationships that we had in the past, have had this impact on us, and we haven't seen the truth of that, of how it has instilled fear or insecurity or emotional defensiveness or lack of confidence in ourselves, we're going to keep being attracted towards people that, like at a subconscious level, remind us of that relationship and we don't even realize it. And then one day it's like, oh my gosh, you are just like so and so, or oh my gosh, I so much didn't want to get in a relationship with someone like this. And lo and behold, I got in a relationship with someone like that. We might think there's a certain relationship dynamic that we grew up within. Like, say, if somebody was short tempered, or somebody was manipulative, or somebody was bossy and controlling, or someone had addictions, and we're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. But we might have gotten in a relationship, just like in our past, there was people who probably enabled that person. And we really didn't want to date someone like that either. But if we were so sure we were going to try to avoid a person who was more immature and we end up trying to pick more mature people, we might find out that we got in a relationship with, basically it's until we work through those issues from our past and see how they might have affected us to not be bold and brave and confident within ourselves. And we're going to keep getting in different relationships with people, different faces, blah, blah. And then we find out that we didn't see that it was someone that we were repeating a pattern of the past with. And sometimes there's people that really value those relationships, and in their pride and ego, they don't want life to be any different from that. It's kind of like, I want to keep living that childhood life. You act like this, I'll act like that. We'll keep recreating it. It was like so perfect in my mind, And they're unwilling to grow. They're unwilling to tap into their own unique creative ways of being, as if that would be a disservice or a rejection of the past. We all got unique talents, skills, and interests. Just because you want to put your own spin on it doesn't mean that you're dissing the past, Okay, now for the top row. People who want to move forward in their life, they don't want to keep repeating patterns of the past. If they had been repeating a pattern with some people that they could have love for, because the Three of Cups is Cancer energy of love and home and family. Sometimes people we can have love for, though, can be in shadowy Three of Cups Cancer energy, where they use their emotions to emotionally manipulate you for whatever reasons they have. They could be somebody who likes to control people. They could be people who like to manipulate people. They could be selfish and greedy and competitive or whatever, And instead of being open and honest and authentic and loving, they're kind of emotionally manipulative. Or they triangulate you. They play you off of other people. Good God. Didn't we all get enough of that in junior high and shit like that, But the people who want to move forward in their life are learning to have good boundaries. And the first person they have to have good boundaries against is their own third party. And your third party within yourself that keeps you from aligning with your loving, hopeful, believing nature is your shadow side, your fearful side, your not believing in yourself, not believing you can manifest your dreams into reality, or, the things in life that can tempt you, your indulgent side, your lustful, greedy, selfish, lazy side, Third parties can't interfere in your life unless you are tempted to align with that aspect within yourself. So maybe some people, Gemini energy is a dualistic sign. And it's about what we're going to align with that we believe will manifest our dreams into reality. Is that we have this dualistic nature. Are we going to align with our heart and hope and faith and belief in our dreams? Or are we going to align with our mind, our more worldly nature, our more prideful nature? Are we going to listen to our intuition or not? Some people were really tempted to align with their more worldly nature, indulgent, materialistic, prideful, or egotistical. And if you don't want to be tempted to reunite with someone like that or work together emotionally with someone like that, you've learned to have good boundaries against being tempted by those things yourself. And then from the Nine of Wands to the Six of Wands, letting go of a Four of Wands. It could be a relationship, a marriage, a foundation, an original family, a friend group. You know, the Four of Wands is like a foundation that we had come together with other people to hopefully have joy and celebration. But if you've learned that you need to be defensive to someone because they let their own shadow energy interfere within them, which then opens up the door for other people to tempt them and manipulate them, you know, appeal to their selfish, greedy nature or lustful, immature nature, you've learned you have to have good boundaries against them, because until they learn to have good boundaries with themselves, they can't move forward with you. So you're letting go of that foundation. And for some people, that could have just been within themselves, because the Four of Wands is Aries energy, and shadowy Aries energy, fire nature, my wants, my needs, my lusts, my greed. If people before, that could have been their shadow energy that was really motivated to make life about money and materialism and repeating patterns of the past. And if anybody has overcome that nature within themselves, they've let go of their shadowy Aries energy of being bossy and controlling and prideful and egotistical and I want things this way. They've let go and learned to have good boundaries against that aspect within themselves, because they want to work together with people who operate from a foundation of love. So, since it's Gemini energy, the people who want to align with love want to align with their Cancer energy and their high vibe Cancer energy and their high vibe Sagittarius energy, not being immature players indulging themselves in the world and not wanting to be in relationships with people who are immature players who operate from pride and ego. You want to be in relationships with people who've let go of that foundation, who've taken bold creative action in their life to overcome their inner conflict about working together with people cooperatively, where people put in work and effort to free themselves from their more shadowy nature, and they're willing to hold that aspect of themselves. The Six of Wands overcomes the Five of Wands. They're both Leo energy. If there was people in your life who previously were really competitive, who tried to tempt you to align with them and not move forward in your life and work together with people who are bold and brave and creative, who freed themselves from their shadow nature, because these shadowy people are prideful and egotistical and competitive, and they wanted to stop you from moving forward and believing in yourself. Or the person in your life has a lot of inner conflict because they let other people compete and cause conflict in their life and stop them from moving forward. Whatever the case is, you know, we want to move forward with people who've overcome the inner conflict they have within themselves about working together with other people, putting in the work and effort to free themselves from their more shadowy, immature, indulgent, selfish, greedy nature. And people who've overcome other people who try to interfere in their life and pull on there and try to tempt them. Ooh, are you fearful and insecure? Let me try to fill you with fear and insecurity so you don't move forward with these loving, bold, creative people. They might hurt you. I don't know. You might have competition. They might try to play you off of other people. They might go off on some new adventure. They might triangulate you. You shouldn't move forward with them. That could happen. You know? All this what if shit, when what if may never happen. But if you know someone who has a lot of inner conflict because they have their own fear and insecurity, and then they have other people who kind of play on that and instill more fear and insecurity in them, or they know that they're kind of immature and maybe selfish or greedy, and then third parties come in and say, hey, you want to come indulge in me? I kind of know you're kind of selfish and greedy and prideful and egotistical. And because they are and they don't have good boundaries within themselves, they go get involved in third parties. You know, whatever the case is, you've learned to have good boundaries because you don't want your life running into the ditch. You don't need chaos and turmoil in your life. If people want to move forward with you, they have had to take some bold creative action to overcome their inner conflict, to deal with the other people in their life that try to cause them conflict, who try to tempt them, their own kind of selfish, immature nature. If they had to overcome it, bye, I'm moving on. I'm working on my own foundation and working together with other people who are out of their shadow nature and hold themselves accountable, who take bold creative action to keep moving forward in love. You know, and if you haven't learned how to do that, then, you know, I guess you have more lessons to learn, that life's about love and not about being so afraid that other people might deceive you one day. Maybe they won't. Being so afraid, but what about the other people I could be in a relationship with? It's like, you know what? Go be in a relationship with them. I'm going. I'm moving on. No worries. You go indulge yourself. I'm going to take creative, inspired action out of love and respect for myself to go work with other people who aren't so worried about competition or so worried about what if someone else comes in my life that I want to go be with. You know, until you grow up and are willing to put work and effort into a loving, committed relationship with people that you love, then I'm moving on. So this person, the bottom of the deck is the reason for the reading. There could have been some people who are defensive of dealing with their inner conflict. They could be defensive about working with people cooperatively because that's kind of like they got skin in the game. They're like investing. And then if the relationship didn't work out, they could be hurt. So some of them could have decided, I have an idea. I'm going to create some conflict and fighting. I am maybe going to take action towards a third party and have a new beginning. And I think that's how I want to live life. They're in shadowy Aries energy. They want it their way or the highway. And if you wanted them to overcome their competitive worldly nature, not operate from pride and ego, be bold and brave and confident, well, they have a problem with that because their foundation maybe does operate from pride and ego. And it is all about their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego. So they could have went and got the idea that, I think I can go get in a different relationship and I think I'll be happy with them. Well, okay. You know, we got to see the truth of the situation. So if someone in your life went and did that, for some of them, out of pride and ego, maybe wanting to have victory in the world, because Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, which can be about the world. Maybe they went and got in a relationship with a Capricorn. They definitely aligned with their more worldly nature. So then they're going to go align with other people in the world who are kind of in line with that worldly way of operating from pride and ego, making life about defensiveness and focusing more on money and materialism and shadow energy. And they think they're going to be happy doing that. Well, you have to deal with the truth of that. And the person might be someone who ignores love. They might be someone in their Libra energy who's emotionally defensive and maybe emotionally cold, who thinks it makes logical and practical sense to focus on being king of the world. So because of that, because they're in a mental prison about love. So they decide, you know what? I'm just going to be in a relationship where I can indulge myself. I'm sure that will heal me. I'm going to go take a risk and make a foolish decision to go try to heal things with a third party. I'm sure that will take away my inner conflict. It's like, no, your inner conflict doesn't go away just because you had a new beginning and you look like a shining star and it boosted your pride and ego. And no, if you get surrounded by luxury in life, that doesn't take away your inner conflict. All those things of the world are like a temporary hit, you know? Kind of works for a while, but then things wane, And unless you're going to keep feeding your addiction to try to numb your inner conflict, it's always going to be there. So if you had someone who did that to you, you had to learn to have good boundaries within yourself. Or if there's a part of yourself that wants to go do that, you're having good boundaries. Because you want to move forward in life. You don't want to keep repeating these same patterns. You want to feel victorious within yourself and within your foundation, not like a false victory out of pride and ego and look at me and look how much money I have and look what I'm wearing and look what I'm driving. Aren't I a valuable person? Feeling proud of yourself and knowing that you have to have character and integrity. Now that's priceless. And no one can give that to you but yourself. So people are calling judgment on their own competitive nature in their world, their own kind of wanting nature in the world, or other people in their life who are like that, to take that bold creative action out of love for themselves. That they're going to be in life-giving energy every day. They're going to treat themselves with love and respect and kindness. Give themselves the things that they wish people that they thought who were loving would have given them. We can be our own best mother, father, coach voice, and that's a lesson we need to learn in life, is to be that person for ourselves. We don't control anyone else in the world, and we shouldn't try to control other people. Who knows how the hell they're going to treat us? We should be the one person we can count on every day, that we're nice and kind and loving and nurturing to ourselves, because we're the one responsible for nurturing our inner child nature. It's no one else's job but ours. We're not little children anymore. We need to learn how to encourage and believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams, in our own self, and in the foundations that we live within with others, because we deserve to be happy. And though you may be sad that a relationship with someone in your life, if that's a parent, a child, a sibling, a friend, a coworker, a love connection, ignores love, well, that's our free will choice. You're going to take that cup of love because that's a free will choice every day to take it. I choose to be in the energy of love and hope and gratitude. I choose to get the justice I deserve. The kings in tarot talk about us taking action in the world. You're going to take action in the world based on your truth. Other people's truth might be, oh no, I want to live by pride and ego. Oh no, I'm very selfish and greedy. Oh no, I'm really defensive. Everybody has the free will to create their life that they want. You want to create your life on truth and honesty and justice and fairness and balance, and you're willing to take action to cut out those things that are not aligned with that. So if there used to be certain emotions and thoughts you used to sit within, done with that. If there were certain people you used to hang around or whatever, done with that. If people in your life aren't just and fair and loving and encouraging and supportive, why would you invest time, energy, and effort into them? You have learned a lesson from this life experience. You've learned how your truth and what you think is just and fair is different from other people's truth and what they think is just and fair. Some people think it's just and fair to leave people out in the cold, to be stubborn and prideful just to prove a point, to make decisions that are best just for them, to be defensive, to cause conflict and fighting and be competitive to make them feel important or something. I don't know. You freed yourself. I see the King of Pentacles as Capricorn energy. High vibe Capricorn energy is people who've seen the truth. They took action based on truth, and the foundation of truth is love. To free themselves from the things of the world that previously had tried to enslave them, oppress them, keep them stuck, tempt them into being in ways that were unhealthy. If you're in a relationship with someone who took a risk, you could have been married to someone, because the King and Queen of Pentacles are the married suit of the deck, or someone you thought you were going to marry. Someone took a risk in a relationship with you. They had the free will choice to be open, honest, loving, and they took a risk to tip into their shadow nature of like pride and ego or fear or defensiveness, and they left you out in the cold. Maybe because maybe someone from their past, because the Six of Cups can be about reuniting with someone from your past, created the illusion in the Seven of Cups that they wanted to come together with this person in a relationship, like they would make them maybe their partner. And your person that you were in a relationship with could have been afraid that if they kept moving forward with you, maybe, well, for one, that would have required that they let go of old ways of being and become more independent, that they learn lessons in life. They could have felt that was overwhelming. They were afraid, like, what if I do that and then I feel stuck? What if it doesn't work out? What if I'm in fantasy land about this person? Again, getting caught up in their head with all these fears and insecurities. For some of them, they could have felt like if they kept moving forward in a relationship with you, that they wouldn't have the financial stability and abundance or image or status that they wanted. And if someone else or their own worldly way of being says, you know what? I think if I let these people go and I just take a risk to focus on money and materialism, I think, I can keep doing life as I've done it. I think I'll find other people to work with. I think things will work out okay. I'll just let them go. For others of them, they wanted to go get in a relationship with someone else. So they left you out in the cold, and you were overwhelmed, and you felt stuck. But then you got out of your fear and your insecurity, and you realized, out of self-love for myself and my dreams, I'm going to love myself. And I'm going to learn I have to have good boundaries against this competitive, kind of maybe selfish person. And I need to let go of thinking I can be in a relationship with them. And my foundation needs to hold them accountable. If they want to go to the competition, if they think I'm supposed to compete and fight for them, that's not loving. People who love you might try to make you feel like you need to compete for them. That's shadowy energy. I'm going to take some bold, creative action out of love for myself to be life-giving in my own foundation, to get the happiness I deserve in life. And I'm going to speak the truth, and I'm going to take the action. I'm going to invest time and energy and effort into my fears and insecurities about being emotionally independent from that person or those people, because I deserve to be happy. And I can fill my own cup emotionally. And I'm going to heal from this betrayal and this pain and heartbreak. And I'm going to trust that the divine has a plan for my life where I will have long-term stability and security. My foundation is going to put work and effort into facing the future, in believing in my dreams, to offering love to people in my future who want to work together from that pure, innocent nature instead of a selfish, greedy, fearful, defensive nature. And I'm also going to to offer love to myself, I kind of look at the Six of Cups as finding emotional balance. You're flowing, when a fearful, insecure thoughts, your loving, supportive nature kicks in, and you have good balance because you've learned how to deal with your dualistic nature, and you're going to take bold, brave, confident action. And the divine is saying you'll have a new emotional beginning, maybe with other people in the world who've also done that work to get balance, because the Three of Swords is Libra energy. Other people who've done that work to get balance between their mind and heart, to get the justice they deserve. And those people in your future are the people who are willing to move forward with you in life, because they're people who listen to their heart and intuition. They're people who are willing to be students of life, who aren't fearful and afraid or stubborn or egotistical. And they invest in taking bold, creative action to stand up for the things they believe in, to fight for the truth. That people need to listen to their intuition if they want to move forward in life. They have to take bold, creative action to believe in themselves and their dreams if they want to close out old cycles of life. They need to take bold, creative action in the world if they want to be aligned with love. Those are people in their Virgo energy who know their worth and value. They're no longer codependent on the world or other people to validate their worth and value. They know their own worth and value. And they have a dream of moving forward in emotionally balanced, loving, patient relationships where people are willing to start fresh, start new, willing to invest in the future, and not people who turn their back on love and turn their back on emotional balance and turn their back on being willing to learn and grow and mature. The people who want to keep repeating patterns of the past, Two of Wands, Aries energy, where they keep repeating patterns of the past, where they kind of use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship, where they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. They get to be foolish and reckless and indulgent. It's all about their pride, their ego, their image. Their foundation, when they let shadowy Aries run their life, and their more materialistic nature and prideful nature in their life, they've got a lot of illusions about what it means to work together with people in a relationship. It's more about them indulging themselves in a relationship. Look at me. Look at the money or image or status or how attractive I am. I don't ever have any lessons to learn. There's all sorts of people who would want to be in a relationship with me. If you want me to learn and put in effort to see things from your perspective or expand my perception of the world, I'll just leave you out in the cold. And, they'll keep having relationships end on them. They might keep feeling like, oh, I don't know. I feel in lack. I don't feel like I'm getting enough. I don't know. I'm kind of overwhelmed because the person I'm with is kind of enlightened and, they're nurturing and loving and they have this idea that we're supposed to work together cooperatively. And I don't know. That just isn't what I was looking for. And then they'll go leave. People who have a lack mentality, that's it. They get in a relationship and it's all about their wants, their needs, their lusts, their greed, their pride, their ego. And if they start to feel like they're lacking in any way, they don't take any responsibility for any of that. That is the people who come to get in a relationship with them, that's their responsibility for them not to feel that way. But sometimes the reason this person feels that way is because they're not taking bold, creative action in their life, connecting in with their emotions and their intuition. They're kind of living in a relationship where they're only operating from their more base nature. Well, our base human nature is a very wanty, pouty being. You're always going to feel in lack. If you haven't learned how to take bold, creative action in your life to see life from a new perspective, to have new dreams and visions of what life can be, but you want to keep doing life exactly the way it is. Yeah. The reason why is kind of that is because people need to see things from a new perspective. And this person's like, oh no, I don't think it's that. I just think I need to go get in a different relationship. That'll make it all better. And it's like, no, it won't. You'll just be under the illusion that if I work with someone else and I go indulge myself in my sexual Aries energy in it, that'll make things go better. That will make me feel balanced. That put an end to my stress about the fact that I'm operating from an unstable foundation that isn't willing to walk away from any old ways of being. So I keep deceiving myself and, living in fantasy land, basically. There could be someone who took a risk to get in a relationship. Maybe it was someone who at that time was also kind of left out in the cold. Maybe they had to leave from a relationship and they kind of felt overwhelmed and they felt stuck. And maybe someone thought, I should present myself as being like a nurturing, loving partner so I can get in a relationship with them. And I'll just create an illusion just like I did in the past. And I'll kind of indulge myself in a relationship. But for some of them, they could have went to go get in a relationship with someone from their past that they had illusions about, and they could have thought that person would be willing to live in this fantasy land and do things the way they wanted. But the person they could have went to go get in a relationship had ideas of their own, and that person could have taken a risk to repeat patterns of their past, like, no, I want to do things the way I want. And they were like, well, no, I want to do things the way I want. And they're like, but I want to do things the way I want. I'm also stubborn and prideful and egotistical. I don't want to have to learn. I don't want to put an effort to try to see things from your perspective. I want to be indulged. So they could have went to go get in a relationship with someone, and then the person they went to go get in a relationship with saw someone else who had stability and security that they could get in a relationship with, and they're like, perfect, I think I can manipulate that person to do what I want, and I'll just indulge myself with them. So for some of you, you had someone who wasn't willing to work together with you in whatever relationship dynamic that is. They thought they could go get someone else who would be willing to indulge them, but they're kind of aligning themselves with other shadowy people who have their own addictions, have their own pride and ego issues, have their own fears and insecurities. And then those people could have left them. And now they feel left out in the cold and kind of overwhelmed. And it's like, what are you going to do now? Whenever the universe makes you feel stuck, are you going to see life from a new perspective? Or are they going to keep repeating the same pattern over and over? The ones who are still not willing to learn a lesson because they have money, materialism, pride, ego, think they're good looking, whatever, they're going to go take a risk to go try to repeat this pattern of behavior with someone else. They do not want to expand their perception of that relationship should be built on love. It's all about them, their wants, their needs, their pride, their ego, their emotional defensiveness. And they're going to keep repeating that pattern unless they learn their lesson. As you're moving forward in your life, you could be trying to encourage these people from your past to take creative, inspired action in their life because you love them. You want them to quit being enslaved by their ego or their fear. You want them to be happy. So you keep moving forward. You keep taking stable, abundant action, speaking your truth, dealing with your own fears and insecurities to fill your own cup, to heal from people in your life who weren't willing to move forward with you, to focus on the future and investing emotionally in those people who are bold and brave and confident and open and honest and loving and intuitive. And the divine is saying you will have a new emotional beginning. Keep believing that the divine is trying to help you manifest your dreams into reality, because we all are manifesting our future into reality every day by what we think and believe about ourselves and the actions we take and the things that we invest time, energy, and effort into. So, before I turned on the camera, I shuffled this Power of Surrender cards. You got surrender to inner peace. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet, meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. Then we have the surrender to passion. Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. And the reason that came out is because surrender to what is. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. Oh, and you know what? I see here, as some people are moving forward, as they're, because the whole thing is, Santero used to talk about this a lot in her readings, like, I don't know, like a year or two ago, about how something that seems to be built into the system of life is that when we're wrapping up a cycle of a life lesson, it's kind of like the next phase of life is ready to come in for us, but we have to show that we have learned the lesson and that we are bold and brave enough to push through, because there will be a lot of resistance. As some of you are moving forward in your life, maybe some of you will come together in a relationship, maybe with a Cancer sign or just people who are loving in your life, and you're moving forward and you are holding yourself accountable and holding other people accountable. As you are moving forward in your own life or in a relationship, someone may try to tempt you. Maybe sexually, because the Ace of Wands can kind of be that, but it can also be just anything we want to indulge in the world. Our immature nature. Are you going to let a third party in? They might be kind of creative about how they try to interfere. Are you going to let them interfere? Are you going to let someone tempt you because of the love you might have for them or the affection you might have for them? Are you going to let them manipulate you, stop you, cause you a lot of inner conflict, tempt you to align with them, either in a loyalty thing, you should be loyal to me instead of them, or, indulging in some shape or form? The people who have learned their lessons and they are no longer aligned with their kind of shadowy nature, they're going to illuminate the truth about some people's foundations and illuminate the fact that I choose love. I choose my family. I choose the people in my life who inspire me and encourage me to believe in myself. They don't try to instill fear and insecurity. They don't try to instill inner conflict in me. They don't try to make me feel like I need to compete for them, because they could have people in their life that make them feel they need to compete for them. It's me or them. Are you going to go with those loving people? Are you not going to align with us? We're your original family, or I'm your sister, or I've been your friend since 6th grade. Really? Some people will be tested as they move forward. You could be tempted by someone who wants to reunite with you in pride and ego. Are you going to be tempted to get in a relationship because you want a family to come back together? But if you were to come back together, maybe in that family dynamic, you'd be ignoring love. You'd be living more from your mind than your heart. seems to make practical, logical sense because you're kind of in a little mental prison about if your dreams will come into reality anyway. Maybe you can heal things with this foolish person whose foundation is more focused on money and materialism, and they invest emotionally in wanting to repeat patterns of the past where they emotionally manipulate you. Do you want to offer them a new beginning in love? Are you going to betray yourself because you have fears of being left out in the cold if you keep believing in your dreams and you start fresh and start new? The only person who can make us abandon our dreams is ourselves. I also shuffled the Rumi Oracle deck, a poet from like the 13th century. This one, the title word is commitment. The awakened heart is like a lantern. I just had this card not too long ago for someone. Even with the surrender cards and the Rumi cards, I'm getting a lot of duplicates out for these 12 zodiac sign readings. And there's a lot of cards in the Rumi deck and a lot of cards in the Power of Surrender deck. But anyway, it says, the awakened heart is like a lantern. Keep it sheltered from the turbulence of the winds of desire. So basically, people who have their own ulterior motives that try to upset the flame of your heart lantern, protect yourself from them. And then the commentary says, the fear that your desire won't manifest may cause you to try to bend life to your will. It is an unnecessary battle and one that will not serve your soul. See, so when we get caught up in our pride and ego and we let our fear and insecurity or whatever take over, we try to force the wheel of fate. The divine wants to bring our dreams into reality, but we have to trust our intuition that is telling us to believe in ourselves, to maybe distance ourselves from people who are trying to tempt us. The divine has our best interests at heart. So, the fear that your desire won't manifest may cause you to try to bend life to your will. It is an unnecessary battle and one that will never serve your soul, or that will not serve your soul. Instead, just show up, be present. Life is not working at cross purposes with you. Far from it. Life is a creative co-conspirator with your heart. If someone were to show up to try to interfere, you know what will scare people away who are trying to be manipulative and deceptive? Is if you're open and honest and loving and warm. It's just like, what the hell? You're supposed to be in more of your lustful nature or your, oh my God, I really want to go do that right now, of indulge and whatever. And when you keep being in life-giving energy of like, you know what, I don't want to fight with you, there might be someone who tries to interject, takes some kind of creative action to tries to cause conflict and fighting. Don't let third parties and people who are aligned with their shadow nature take you out of your place of peace. It's just like, if other people are jumping up and down and causing all this chaos and ruckus, just stay calm. We can choose to let people interfere with our energy and our peace and our well-being. We can let them do what they want. Oh, you're going to be obnoxious, or you're going to do this, or you're going to do that. It's just like, I need you to leave. This is not okay. And I'm not letting you disrupt the foundation of my home, my own foundation, the happy life I'm creating for myself. I am not tempted by your antics. If you're not truthful and honest and authentic and bold and brave enough to choose happiness, then, and you're operating from pride or ego or competitiveness or selfishness or greed, I don't have time for it. So there you go, Gemini energies. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.